Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Nanyang Business School Open House. This morning, we had a very lively session with so many of you asking us a lot of very interesting questions. And this afternoon, we are going to continue with doing just that. Okay, before I continue any further, let me start by introducing myself. My name is Lam Kit Wai. I'm the Associate Dean for Undergrad Student Life Matters. And together with me today, I have a panel of my colleagues to help me answer all your questions. First up, let me introduce Associate Prof. Loh Kin Yew. He is the Associate Dean for Undergrad Academic Matters. And so between the two of us, we take care of all undergrad matters. Kin Yew, please.
Hi, good afternoon to all of you. My name is Loh Kin Yew. I'm also a faculty with the Division of Accounting. And I'm looking forward to another round of exciting interaction with all of you.
Thank you, Kin Yew. And next up, we have Miss Jenny Goh. Jenny is the head of our undergrad program office, and she's the person that you will be seeing a lot of if you join us, because she will be handling all your academic curriculum matters and so on. Jenny, please.
Hello, a very good afternoon to all of you. Glad that you are joining us this afternoon. I'm Jenny from the Undergraduate Programs Office. My team actually runs the academic programs and the student life initiatives which are directed by our two associate deans, Prof. Loh and Prof. Lam. So we are all looking forward to interacting more and engaging with you this afternoon to tell you why you should join Nanyang Business School.
Thank you, Jenny. And last but not least, we have Ms. Linda Ong. She is the director of our Career Services team. Our Career Services team are the people who will help all of you look for very exciting internship opportunities, as well as, very importantly, your full-time employment once you graduate. Linda, please.
A very good afternoon to all of you out there. Thank you for joining us and taking the time to spend this afternoon with us. As Kit Y has said, I have a very important and exciting job, and to help you look for internship and also full-time opportunities when you join the business school. My name is Linda Ong, and I'm from Undergrad Career Services. See you later.
Thank you, Linda. And without further ado, let's just jump straight into answering all of your questions. And I think I will start very logically with admissions. These questions deal with specifically the poly cohort. I know all of you are very excited because I think the application window is closing soon. So there are questions that you want answered. So let's start with that. First thing that I want to show you are the questions here. There are questions that ask about how many poly students there are? Are there more poly students now? And what kind of exemptions you get when you enter as a poly student? Are there any waivers and so on? So to answer that, Jenny will speak to you.
Hello. Hi to all the Polytechnic Diploma graduates out there. I think right now you will know that poly applications close 21st February. That's tomorrow, 2359 hours. So I think some of you out there are actually interested to know whether there is a quota to the poly cohort that we take in. So in short, the answer is no. I think in recent years, with the expansion of university places, the NBS has taken in a lot more polytechnic graduates. We actually embrace the diversity, the perspectives from our poly graduates. And with that, I think many of you may think that junior college is the more secure route to university, but that's not true anymore. So we welcome students, graduates from the polytechnics, and we welcome graduates from all diplomas. So if you are holding a diploma in optometry, we welcome you. If you are in food science and technology, that does not deprive you of a chance to join us at Nanyang Business School. So if you are not in any business-related diplomas, you're welcome to apply with us. And well, if you have a business-related diploma, then you'll be happy to note that you will enjoy an exemption from our first-year course. So for instance, if you have a diploma in marketing, then you will get an exemption from our first-year marketing course, because we recognize the in-depth learning that you have actually obtained from your diploma in marketing, and therefore you will be able to enjoy that exemption. Yes, and I think these are some of the pertaining, very burning questions from our poly friends out there. So I hope that I've addressed most of your questions.
Thank you, Jenny. Okay, next up, I'm going to ask Associate Prof. Loh to come to answer some of the questions that relate to how we conduct classes in NBS. Okay. The questions here deal with the ratio of seminar and lectures for a human resource student. Okay, that's a very specific question. And also questions like what is class participation like in NBS? Okay, over to you, Kin Yu.
Thank you, Kit Y. Well, at NBS, all our courses are run, largely in seminar styles. In fact, we offer about 100 courses per semester. And out of this 100 courses, I would say only 3 courses actually adopts the lecture tutorial, where you have a week of lecture and then followed by a class in a tutorial format. The rest of our courses are actually seminar styles. And how do we run the seminars? So usually students are expected to complete certain readings and activities before they come to class. Some of these activities are actually online, so you can watch an e-video and then followed by some interactive exercises that you need to complete before coming to class. And the whole idea is that students come into the class with a certain basic level of knowledge so that they can engage with each other. Learning does not take place only between instructor and the students. In fact, most of the learning is done when you interact with our classmate. So this is how we normally run our summer stars. In class, okay, very often we group our students into smaller teams, and the teams are assigned questions to discuss, and the instructor will walk around the classroom to facilitate the discussion within a team. And afterwards, a team might be called upon, or they can volunteer themselves to come up and present their team members' view. And this is where the rest of the class will chip in, and through that process, we learn from each other. And so I would say that for human resource specialization, in fact, zero, all the courses will be conducted in the seminar format. Okay, and there's also a question on participation. Yes, students are expected to speak up in class, and this is precisely why we expect students to complete some of this learning, some of this reading, some of this in-class discussion, before coming to class, so that class time can be more effectively utilized in the form of, team-based learning. And class participation can take the form of answering questions or actually asking a question. Okay, so and in fact, we also use technology like WooClap and Turning Point, where questions are posted as part of a class presentation, and students actually use a mobile phone to answer those critical questions.
Okay, thank you, Kinyu. So I hope that gives you better insight into how we conduct classes in NBS. It's a very interactive, engaging process. And I think that it benefits the students and also makes things a lot more lively and interesting for you. Okay, next up, we're going to listen to Ms. Linda Ong talk about employment prospects. Many of you are rightly so concerned about, so what happens after graduation? What kind of job prospects do I have? And I think a good starting point, of course, is to look at last year's results. And some person actually asked this. The person asked, can you share how the job market is and what is the starting salary for last year's graduates? And another more specific question, specifically asking about a person from, say, the actuarial science specialization. What kind of job prospects can I look forward to? So for that, we have Linda.
Those are very good questions. Thank you very much. You may have seen in the Straits Times that as of yesterday, the Straits Times actually posted the graduate employment survey for the class of 2020. So this is actually news hot from the press. Okay, and before I share the information with you, let me also look at, let me show you the different programs that we have that we've prepared for you. The Business and the Computing Science program, of which the prospects are, of course, excellent. 97.1% of our students have got employment, and we are very blessed and fortunate indeed that during the very bad time of COVID, we still managed to garner very high employment figures with a fantastic salary, of course. The top industries that our students from BCG go to would be financial institutions, business and management consulting. Now, I also want to show you the top employers as well as the occupations. Right, many of you are going to join us this year, and some of you will join us 2 years later. Just thinking about the future, what are the jobs that you may get into, and especially for an industry like business and computing science, you would be joining the Kearney, the Bank of America, Credit Suisse, ByteDance as your employers, including Facebook, JP Morgan, and the occupations you may get into would be your securities specialists, data scientists, engineer, financial analysts, IT project managers as well. Now let me talk about the other program, which is a double degree program, 2 degrees, 4 years, which is our Accountancy and Business program. As you can see, we have also very good median gross salary, and we're also very fortunate to have an overall employment of 7.6%, and especially at a very bad year as well. The industry sectors would be financial institutions, business and management consulting. Now, for the single degree programs, let's look at the gross salary, which is $3,008. The industry sectors you go to is also financial institutions, consulting, and a very good overall employment of more than 95%. Let's look at the occupations: financial analyst, human resource associate, business development executive, and they join Accenture, Citibank, Enterprise Singapore, AXA Insurance, DBS. This would be your top employers that have employed our students for the class of 2020. And finally, our last degree program, which is the accountancy, would be a median salary, gross salary of 3,000. You would see that the overall employment is 96.0%, despite a very difficult year. And more than 60% of the students actually go into the Big Four. And they go into roles of audit, tax, consulting, advisory, risk. If you look around in, in LinkedIn, you find that many of our CFOs actually come from the business school, from the Bachelor of Accountancy program. And many of them would have also started in the Big Four as their very first job. The companies that employ our accountancy students include Ernst & Young, KPMG, PwC, Deloitte. We love these partners. Baker Tilly, Auditor General's Office, as well as they go into roles of auditing, tax accountant, business consultant, management consultant. They also enter the government. So there are many, many opportunities for our accountancy students into various multinationals as well as financial institutions. Now to the question of how is the employment? Well, I guess I've shown you all the slides, and you can actually check out the Ministry of Education website because all this information is right on the website. Thank you. Over.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, now that Linda has talked about the employment prospects, let's go on back to talking about admissions, and we are going to talk to Ms. Jenny Goh, and this part of the admissions deals with, okay, cutoff points, and if my grades aren't really hot, do I have a chance? Should I even bother to apply? And for that, we have Ms. Jenny Goh, who will be talking about, this thing that you're talking about, cutoff points, and what other things do we look at when we are considering admissions. Jenny, please.
Hello. Hi. I think a lot of you have got many questions after having received your A-level results yesterday. So maybe our heartiest congratulations to all of you. And I think as you start thinking about your university application, we would like to encourage all of you out there, if you are not too satisfied with your grades, I think for Nanyang Business School, NTU, we look at, I think, students' applications beyond grades. Why do I say that? Because we adopt a holistic admissions approach, and increasingly, some of you out there may be asking, why is our IGP falling? Yes, well, that is really because we embrace aptitude-based admissions. I think in the last 2 years or so, we have actually brought in students who have displayed and demonstrated excellence outside of the classroom. So for instance, we have in our student community cadre athletes. We have amongst our student community budding entrepreneurs. We actually encourage students to be adventurous, to be innovative, and we also embrace students who are willing to step up, who are passionate about giving back to society. So if you are actively involved and volunteering out there in the community, I think we welcome all of you who not only care about yourself, about your own achievements, but you are someone who looks out to the interests of others. I think we want you. And also, I think increasingly, if you look at the changing education landscape, there is also focus on internships, work experience, because in all these work experiences, you build your soft skills, you build networks. And so if you have also demonstrated significant contributions in your internships, you are welcome to apply to Nanyang Business School under ABA. We welcome talents, we welcome diversity in our student community. So I hope that you are not too discouraged, but you're encouraged actually this afternoon, and you will apply with Nanyang Business School NTU be it on the academic platform or on the non-academic achievement category. Back to you, Kit Wai.
Thank you, Jenny. So as you've heard from Jenny, we really embrace diversity, and we want to see students who are talented in all kinds of different aspects, and together we will make up a vibrant community. Yeah? Okay, for the next question, there's someone who's asking about entrepreneurship, and I think that we are Actually, very excited to talk about that because we have a new second major that has just come up on entrepreneurship, and for that we have Prof. Kinyu to talk more about how we at NBS promotes entrepreneurship. Okay, Kinyu, please.
Thank you, Kit Wai. Entrepreneurship is something we actively promote in NBS among our students. And this is because, going forward, I think, the growth in jobs come largely from SME, right? And so it is important for us to groom our own entrepreneurs. And for this, actually, we now actually incorporate the entrepreneurial mindset in our very first year career and, entrepreneurial course. So in this course, students will be exposed to what it takes to be an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurs are not just people who actually go out and start their own business. The entrepreneurs' spirit, as well as a mindset, is very important in all enterprises because they have to grow their business. So this is something we will expose our students to in the very first career and entrepreneurial course that they do in year 1. And thereafter, students who are really keen to pursue entrepreneurship, you can opt for the minor in entrepreneurship that's open to all NTU students. And Kit Wai actually referred to a second major in entrepreneurship, which is launched actually this year itself. And this is actually developed by Nanyang Entrepreneurship Center as well as the College of Engineering together with NBS. And this, for the pilot launch, will be offered to both engineering and business students. And so students who are really keen in entrepreneurship, you can come in. And in fact, as part of their second major in entrepreneurship, you will get to go on internship with startup firms, both in Singapore as well as overseas. So it is a very exciting program for those of you who are thinking of setting up your own business. Back to you, Kit Wai.
Thank you, Kinyu. Okay, so that was all about entrepreneurship and how we are promoting entrepreneurship at NBS. The next thing I'm going to talk about are internships. And for that, I'm going to ask Ms. Linda Ong from our Career Services team to come and talk to you about internships. And many of you have asked questions like, how many internships can I go for? When do I start? And so on. So for that, Linda, please.
Thanks for this question. This is a really important part and a very integral part of your Nanyang Business School student life when you join us. Now, the question is, how many internships can one choose to go for? As many as you want, okay? You have a 3-year to a 4-year degree program. That means that you can actually take your internship in your first year. You can also take it in the winter period, which is December. You can also take it in the second year, which we call a summer period, and as well as December. At the same time, we also offer you part-time internships with many of our premier employers out there. The other question is, I heard from seniors in NBS that the Big Four does not take year 1 internships. Is it true? Absolutely not, okay? The Big Four, which is Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, and Ernst & Young, they do take our year 1 internships. In fact, they welcome year 1 internships because this is a time where they can spot the talent, and this is a time for you also to be able to know what your career aspiration could be. Throughout the 3 years, what is a good number of internships I should take on? Well, I just mentioned that it could be as many as you want to. Some students take as many as 6 internships. But I also want to remind you not to forget the other parts of your student life, which is, of course, about exchange, locally, and, of course, overseas, when the opportunity arises. Do students need to source for their own internship? Well, okay, internship is compulsory at the Nanyang Business School since time began. And we have committed ourselves to get every student an internship. This is a mandatory requirement, and you will need an internship before you graduate. This is our commitment to our Nanyang Business School student. And I also like to talk a bit about year 1 internships, because many of you may know that year 1 internships are actually compulsory. And we are committed to help you get a year 1 internship. And how do we do it? We, of course, work with many premier employers. We talk to them about your ability to be able to contribute. At the same time, why is it good for you to do a year 1 internship? For obvious reasons. Number 1, you get to know what you like or do not like. You get to know about the industries. You get to know about the roles that you may possibly like in the future. And of course, when you're looking for your internship, it is a journey of self-discovery. It is a journey of self-awareness where you discover about what your strengths are and perhaps what are the areas that you need development in. And when you go for your year one internships, you are exposed to a myriad of opportunities, including building up your social skills, building up your corporate skills, and even building up your networking skills. Now, I also like to share with you that we have alumni in our community that will take year one students as interns. And how do we also prepare for our year one students? I know that you're coming in as freshmen. It's pretty scary sometimes to be out in the corporate jungle. Not to worry, we have career foundations, career preparedness courses for you. We help you to set up your LinkedIn account. We help you to write a beautiful LinkedIn summary, true, of course, so that you can present yourself to employers. We teach you how to network virtually, now that it's a COVID period. We also organize many workshops and career clinics for you so that you can meet industry partners, you can meet your peers, you can also meet our wonderful alumni out there, and you can meet a lot of our premier employers who are very keen to engage you and to help and to partner with us on getting you internships. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, so next up, we are going to talk about majors and minors. Many of you are very excited, I see, about the different options that we have for you on top of our basic programs. We have so many options for you for majors and minors. So what I'm going to talk about right now, or rather to get Ms. Jenny Goh to talk about right now, is when on earth do I apply for all these things? Before I come in, after I come in, at what point in time do I apply for these things? Okay, so let me just hand the mic over to Jenny. Jenny, please, thank you.
Hi, for all of you out there who are thinking about your degree options, I think in addition to the primary degree, for example, a Bachelor of Accountancy, you could also think about, I think what Prof. Loh has also mentioned just now, our newly launched second major in entrepreneurship. I think a second major would actually comprise about 30 credits, and you will actually take these on top of what you will learn in your main primary degree program. But I think on top of second majors, I think NTU also offers a myriad of minors. So maybe some of you out there may be thinking, well, 30 credits on top of my primary degree program may be a bit too heavy. So I would like to go for something lighter. That's not an issue. You can actually choose from NTU's long menu of minor. So if you're interested in a minor in economics, you can take that up. Or if you're maybe more technologically inclined, savvy, you might want to also take up a minor in computing. So there is a minor to cater to different appetites for all of you out there. So you are welcome to check out our website on the list of minors that NTU offers to all our applicants. And some of you might be thinking, well, maybe it's a bit too early for me right now to be thinking about applying directly into a second major or a minor. Then that's not an issue. Join us in our single degree programs or double degree programs. At the end of first year or in the course of your first year, you can also start to maybe declare a minor or to apply at the end of your first year for a second major. So I think at NTU, there is a lot of flexibility for students to chart out your own academic journey with us. So with that, I hope you're excited about applying to NTU NBS. We look forward to your applications. Applications will actually close on the 19th of March. Back to you, Kit Y.
Thank you, Jenny. Okay, so now you've heard about admissions and when you should apply for all your various options and so on. The next thing I'm going to deal with is how our classes are conducted now that COVID-19 has struck us. And yes, of course, it has impacted us in so many aspects of our lives, including, yes, the way classes are being conducted. So for that, I'm going to ask Prof. Kinyu to talk to you about what NBS is doing in terms of dealing with the COVID-19 situation and how it has impacted our classes. Over to you, Kinyu.
Thank you, Kit White. I'm glad that you asked. Yes, many of us are actually concerned how COVID will affect our students' learning. And I'm happy to say, although some of the courses have gone online because of the need to, keep the numbers of students on campus, less than before, But we are happy to say that 60%, in fact, up to 70% of our courses this semester are being conducted in the usual manner, in person. But of course, we have taken the measure necessary to give our students the assurance of mind, okay, that it is actually a safe environment when they have to interact with the others. So in classrooms, we make sure we space out the table, we restrict the numbers of students per table. All students and instructors have to put on their masks, including the wipe down of tables after each class. Okay, the whole idea here is that we want to give our students the optimal, mix of classes, both physical as well as online classes. And more importantly, whether your courses are run in person or online, we aim to increase the interaction. We aim to actually maintain the extent of interaction between students and instructors itself. So for instance, like even in online classes, when we use Zoom, we often use breakout rooms so that the student can still actually discuss the team-based problems in small groups and then come back to the main room where everybody contributes. So in the online, we promote interaction through that way. And I did mention earlier before, in physical classroom, our students are seated in clusters. So many of these, questions that we discuss are actually, assigned to various teams so that they can have a small group discussion. And then after that, the instructors will get a group to contribute their team's, solution or proposal to the rest of the class. And so we maintain the same amount of interaction in both our in-person as well as our online classes.
Thank you, Kinyu. And now I'm going to deal again with admissions, and this time it's to do with applying for the double degree. As you know, our double degrees are really, really popular, and so there are some questions here that ask us about how you should apply for the double degree, when you should apply for it, and so on. Yeah? Okay. Let me just put up the questions, and then we will have Ms. Jenny Goh come and answer these questions for us. Jenny, please.
Okay, I think we're very happy about the excitement with our double degree programs in NTU, so in NBS specifically. So if you are really excited and keen to apply to our double degree program, but you may be doubtful as to whether or not your performance, your academic results will qualify you for it, or you may think that, can I cope with a double degree? I think first and foremost, perhaps if you are really passionate and you are really eager to take up this challenge of entering our double degree program, then we would strongly encourage that you be brave enough to put it as your first choice, because we encourage you to try. Okay, try, because entry points vary from year to year. It really depends on the quality of the applications we get. And so without trying, you will never know. So if you do try and you ultimately get in, that's very good, because then you empower yourself to actually move yourself forward to do something that you are passionate about. But of course, if you somehow miss it, then it is all right, because you will be considered for your second choice, maybe in a single degree, alongside somebody who has put our single degree as his or her first choice. So it's all about performance, it's all about potential, and we give equal opportunities to all. It's just that, of course, if you're being considered for your second choice, then maybe you will not hear from NTU so soon with regards to your application outcome. It takes a longer time, but no problem. You will definitely be hearing from NTU before the acceptance closes. So we encourage all of you out there to pursue your dream, be brave, and just put in, according to your first choice, what your heart tells you. Back to you, Kit Y.
Thank you, Jenny. Okay, next up, I'm going to ask Prof. Kinyu to talk to you about the duration of our courses. I'm sure most, if not all of you, know that the duration of our courses are actually shorter than for most of other universities here in Singapore for similar programs. So there are questions about why is that so? Will I be shortchanged? What if I can't handle the pace? I want to take it a longer period of time to continue, to complete my degree. Can I do that? And Kinyu will talk to you about that. Kinyu, please.
Thank you, Kit Wai. Yes, I think many students have asked us a question. Our single degree program have been designed from day one to be a 3 years program. So students are concerned whether we are shortchanging you in terms of quality. Well, the short answer is no, and I have actually statistics to back it up. So maybe let me share the slides, okay? As you know, to become a chartered accountant in Singapore, you actually have to sit for the professional examination administered by Singapore Accountancy Commission. And that examination started in 2016, and you can see the passing rate of our NBS accountancy graduate since then all the way to 2019. And you can tell that our accountancy graduates are very well prepared for the professional exam because their passing rate consistently exceeded the national average. And we've zoomed into the individual modules that's being tested in each of this professional exam. There are 5 modules. Again, the passing rate of our MBS accountancy graduate exceed the national, passing rate. And some of you were very observant earlier, wonder what happens to the 2020 examination. Well, unfortunately, because of COVID, the professional exam for June itself was cancelled last year. And so it was actually launched again only in December. The results are not out yet, but again, I'm very certain that our students have done very well. Okay, coming back to a 3 year versus a 4 years for a single degree program. And for a double degree, it's actually a 4 years versus a normally 5 years program at other local universities. So how are we able to do so? Okay, this is because, we make sure that from day one, we actually design it such that, we allow our students to accomplish much more in a shorter duration. But rest assured, that doesn't mean that it becomes a pressure cooker. Why? Because every semester, we keep the load, the course load, to within, 16 to 18 AUs. AUs stand for academic units, and each AU stands for 1 hour of in-class lesson. So when you're talking about 16 to 18, you're talking about a 16 to 18 hours week. So that is actually very manageable compared to the amount or the number of hours of classes that you have to go through in your JC. So rest assured, you come in, you actually will be challenged, you will be stretched, but it is still within what we think you're capable of. And in fact, our students, take up a lot of other CCA besides, focusing on their studies. For instance, they say in the hall, there will be residential education program that they participate in. There are many student clubs in both MBS as well as university. Our students take up many activities, and some of them actually take up leadership role, where they actually becomes, a key event organizer, and they actually becomes mentor and ambassador for the school itself. So there's a lot of things that you can do besides studying in NTU. You will have more than enough time for your study, so don't worry, okay?
Thank you, Kin Yu. Yes, and let me just emphasize what Kin Yu has said. There are so many opportunities for you to do a lot more than just studying or even going for internships. There are many, many things that you can do here in NBS. And I wish you could see them right now, but they're off camera. But right now, actually, we have all kinds of students hanging about here who are actually helping us with the entire outreach campaign. So they're actually handling all our social media accounts. They're helping us to plan for today's event and so on. So doing things that go far beyond the classroom, okay? And of course, we also pay them, okay? So don't worry, it's not free labor, all right? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is something that I think is very interesting to most students, which is the opportunity to go abroad, overseas. And of course, now with COVID, unfortunately, we are kind of housebound in Singapore right now, but I'm glad to see so much interest in traveling beyond our shores, yeah, to outside of this little red dot. So first up, we're going to talk about the opportunities for international exchange, meaning going abroad to other universities to do a semester in the other university, okay? And so for that, we will have Miss Jenny Goh to talk to you. Jenny, please.
Right. I think I think the interest out there right now with international exchange may have died down a little because of COVID, but I think once we are able to, the situation is under control, I think many of you would like actually an opportunity for international exchange. But international exchange doesn't just mean maybe a semester of 6 months abroad, I think in NTU we offer many different international exposure opportunities ranging from 6 months to a year, but we also have short-term exchange programs ranging from 4 to 6 weeks for students who may feel that they just want a short-term exchange opportunity. So pre-COVID, we are very happy to actually share that 80% of our students actually get international exposure. Not just in study programs, but later on, I think Linda will be happy to share with you about overseas internship opportunities as well. And I think there were questions also out there asking, how do I apply for exchange? It's by application, not by bidding, and our Office of Global Exchange and Mobility actually plows through the application. And because exchange is really popular with our students, I think in terms of demand and supply, the office has to go through applications, and then they look at what you have put in terms of your academic performance, but also what you can offer, right, as an ambassador when you fly the Singapore flag overseas. So they also look at non-academic credentials. And so when the time comes and you join us, feel free, and you should be encouraged to put in your application. And right now, I think, like what Prof. Lam has said, we are bound here in Singapore, but we do invite students to apply for local exchange to SMU, to NUS, and also some of our partner universities like Tsinghua. They are writing to us to request for virtual exchanges. So I think opportunities for exchange doesn't really stop with COVID. We explore different platforms, different areas, different arenas for students to be able to engage with students from all over the world. So I hope that this has addressed all the questions with relations to exchange.
Thank you, Jenny. And as Jenny has promised, of course, our opportunities for going abroad in NBS doesn't stop just with exchange, international exchange. We also have international internships. And for that, I'm going to ask Ms. Linda Ong to talk to us about that. And there are some questions that have actually come up that deal with that. Yeah? And these questions are, for example, how competent is an NBS graduate in overseas employment? And of course, that relates a lot to what kind of experience does our NBS grad have in terms of overseas exposure and working overseas. And that, of course, relates to overseas internships. And for that, Linda is going to tell you a bit more.
Thank you for this question. I know that in 2020, it was a very difficult year for our students because they couldn't go on any overseas internships. I wanted to show you what we did before, and I'm very optimistic that we can do our overseas internships very soon. But before that, let me just show you what happened in 2019 up to the March of 2020. Obviously, there were some students overseas and we had to recall them back. They were in places like Qatar, and they were also in South Africa, Tel Aviv. And we've sent students in 2019 and 2020 till March to Hong Kong, nearer home, Shanghai, Tokyo, and a bit further away, all the way to South Africa, as well as Uganda, even as far as Chile, Santiago, Berlin, Doha, London, okay? I know we all have the wanderlust, so do I. We're missing these opportunities, but again, we are very fortunate to have had this experience, and we are very optimistic that all of you can go on overseas exchange or internships when you join us, possibly next year or the year after. Now, I also wanted to show you where they go on overseas internships, to the question about, can you perform well when you're in overseas employment? Okay, so the next slide will show that students actually go onto overseas internships in different cities, and also with all these some of these employers, like UOB, Lenovo, Nomura, Qatar, as well as in different countries, all right? We have students that have been offered, full-time employment to start in London before, as well as Hong Kong, and even Dubai, and I would say Abu Dhabi, and also China. So students who come to the Nanyang Business School, number one, have multiple internships. Number two, they have overseas experience because they've gone on exchange, and they've also gone on overseas internships, and they're actually quite well prepared to assimilate into a foreign country when they start on their employment job. Of course, many of them are also employed locally, and after 1 or 2 years, or even after a few months, some of them actually get seconded or posted out overseas. So I would say that our NBS students are very well prepared for an overseas opportunity. In addition, we have alumni that are all over the world. Okay, just to let you know, statistically, we have 54,000 Nanyang Business School alumni alone in 94 countries, over 6 continents. When we know that a student is going for an employment overseas, we actually even connect the student who is going overseas for the employment with some of our alumni in the particular country, so that our alumni will be able to help our student settle down in the new job. So this is what we have at Nanyang Business School. And overall at NTU, there are 250,000 alumni that are all willing to help, and they, of course, always extend their help to Nanyang Business School students. Over to you.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, so you can see that there are great advantages to the fact that we are the largest business school in Singapore. The larger the business school, the more the alumni, and the greater and more complex the network you have to tap onto for guidance, for job opportunities, for internship opportunities, and so on. Yeah? Okay, moving right on, we are going to call on Prof. Kin Yew to come up to talk to us about students who have a whole variety of interests. Interest in tech, interest in business, interest in accountancy. So specifically, the questions ask, I have an interest in tech and also business. May I know what my options are and what my prospects will be? Also, we have a question that asks, is there a double degree in accountancy and computer engineering? Okay, for that, Prof. Kin Yew will talk to you. Kin Yew, please.
That's the question, okay? Because you are really interested in combining accountancy or business with technology. There's no better university than NBS and NTU. Okay, after all, we are premier business school within a leading technological university. Okay, so you have access to expertise in technology, finance, accounting, all within NTU itself. And as the KY alluded to, for students who are really wanting to pair technology with business, you can pursue our double degree in business, where you specialize in business analytics. And for the second degree, you will actually be doing either computer science or computer engineering. And Linda earlier showed that this group of students are in high demand. They have the highest employment rate as well as the starting salary. And the other, the double degree that you can consider is our latest, double degree in accountancy, and we combine it with our data science and artificial intelligence. And some of you may not be aware, for our bachelor in, data science and artificial intelligence, it is actually ranked one of the top 10, program in the world. So this is a very, exciting and growing area. And of course, within the single degree, for those who are interested in technology, you can consider doing our business analytics. And for those students who doesn't want to focus solely on technology, okay, but if, let's say you're interested in marketing, but you know it is very important to pick up data analytical skills, you can do our minor in data science or data computing. And we also have for the accountancy a minor in digitalization and data science itself. So beyond that, we also ensure that all our courses have the relevant technology infused in them. So for instance, if you are doing a course in auditing, you will learn about ACL, IDEA, you will learn about visualization using Tableau, because all these are relevant technological skills that all our graduates should be equipped with. Okay, but there are also avenues, if you are very interested in technology, to pick it up when you're in the program, both within NBS as well as outside NBS in all the other colleges. Okay, back to you, Kirwai.
Okay, thank you, Kin Yew. So you can hear from Kin Yew that, if you are interested in tech and so on, as well as business or accountancy, NBS really is the place to go to. Okay, next up, I'm going to ask Ms. Jenny Goh to come up to talk to us about scholarships and possibly also bursaries, okay? For those people who are interested in applying for scholarships and or bursaries, Jenny is here to tell you all about it. Jenny, please.
Okay, with the applications opening for admissions, alongside it, applications for scholarships have also begun. So for all those out there, if you are looking for scholarship applications, then our Nanyang and college and school scholarships are available for application. So alongside with your admissions application, please put in also your application for a scholarship. But on top of our Nanyang scholarship, our college and school scholarship, you should also be looking at our university scholars program. Along with that comes also with a scholarship. On top of that, actually, for NTU, the NTU office works with a lot of corporate partners out there to bring in also scholarships which are funded by our corporate partners. So if you somehow did not secure our Nanyang college or school scholarship, students, current students are also open to apply for some of these corporate scholarships. And I think in NBS NTU, we believe that no students should be denied of a university education because of financial difficulties. So at NTU, there is also a list of financial aid schemes that students can apply for. These include bursaries, tuition loans, bank loans, study loans, awards, and grants that students can also apply for. On top of that, we also roll out work-study schemes for students who may want to take up part-time jobs during your 3 or 4 years here with us to actually fund your education. So I think in NTU, there are many opportunities for scholarships, for bursaries to actually fund your 3 or 4 years education in NTU. Back to you, Kit Wai.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. Okay, the next thing that I want to deal with is this new interdisciplinary core curriculum that is going to be introduced at NTU starting this year. And there's a question that asks how it will affect our syllabus. And for that, I'm going to ask Prof. Kin Yew to talk to you, and he will tell you what it's all about, why we have such a thing in the first place, and what it means for our incoming students. Over to you, Kin Yew.
Okay, I'm glad you're actually following the news, because we actually announced that it is an NTU initiative. Starting this year, we'll be rolling out what we call the ICC. It stands for Interdisciplinary Collaborative Curriculum. Okay, so this comprises 7 courses that all NTU students have to take in their year 1 and year 2. And you are interested to find out 4 of these courses actually focus on transferable skills, so such as digital skills, navigating the digital world. There's also a course on communication and inquiry in this cultural world. And also, there are also courses that focuses on the grand humanity challenges, because we believe strongly that going forward, it is important that all NTU graduates be aware of what are the challenges out there and what are the skills that are needed to solve this problem. And very often, all these challenges require students with different discipline, different perspective coming together, working together to resolve, to find a solution to all these grand challenges. And so one of the unique features of this ICC courses is that they will be conducted by faculty from the various schools. Okay, so you will be taking the digital literacy course conducted by faculty from the School of Physical Science and Mathematical Sciences. Okay, and you will be studying on with students from different programs. So students that have different perspective, different training from you. But you learn to collaborate and work together and come up with viable solution. Okay, a multi-pronged approach to all the problems that you have to deal with. Okay, so this is a unique feature of our ICC. And it doesn't affect our curriculum in the sense that these are actually built into your foundational courses. So it doesn't extend your program duration. It doesn't extend the number of courses that you have to complete within your program. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Kin Yew. I have now some questions that ask about hostel accommodation. And for that, I'm going to ask Ms. Jenny Goh to come and tell you about our hostel accommodation. And I think that I'm glad to see such a question, because I think one of the attractions of studying at NTU really are hostels. We have beautiful hostels, and some of you are asking, well, you know, I really want to stay in a hostel. Will I get a chance to, or is it so competitive I may not get a chance to experience living on this beautiful campus? Okay, so for that, Jenny is going to talk to you. Jenny, please.
Okay, we have 16 halls of residences on our sprawling NTU campus, and some of these are air-conditioned, some of these are not. If you have a chance to actually tour NTU, you will see that some of these are really beautiful. They look like condominium developments out there. And if you would like to actually stay in the hall, yes, you can. All the first years are guaranteed a place in our hall of residence. And it continues all the way to your second year. And if you are thinking of staying throughout, then at the end of the second year, we will be looking at your CCA contributions and how much. Maybe you are also, how far is you stay away from the NTU campus in order to actually do the allocation for hostel places in the third or the fourth year. But having said that, I think the competition is good, but in the first 2 years, you are guaranteed a place in our halls of residence. And some of you may be thinking, what about the hostel fees? How much would that be? It ranges from about 200 to about 500 per month, depending on which hall of residence you will be allocated to. Thank you, Kit Wai.
Jenny. Okay, the next question I'm going to deal with, or rather I'm going to ask Prof. Kinyu to deal with, is a question from a student who's asking, how come you didn't answer my question? Did you miss out my question? I'm asking it again. So given your burning desire to hear the answer, I'm going to put it up to Prof. Kinyu to answer. And in truth, actually, I kind of thought that Prof. Kinyu had answered it already, so I thought you had heard the answer, but I think maybe it wasn't specific enough for you. So here is Prof. Kinyu to tell you specifically the answer to your burning question, which is this. Maybe my question was missed out amongst the other questions. Sad face emoji. Why is NBS able to provide 3 years degrees? Does it mean that we take more modules each sem, making life more stressful? Can you please answer this question for us? Thank you.
I'm sorry if I did not answer the question earlier, but I'm always happy for when my students actually we have the student have the flexibility. You know, although we say that the program is only 3 years, because we design it such that, you know, the courses that are required, okay, that are expected of our students can be completed comfortably within the duration, 3 years, okay, but our students are also given the flexibility. Should they want to take a gap semester, a gap year, let's say to pursue their business interest, you know, start up their own businesses, they can do so and extend their program actually up to 5 years. Okay. In fact, very often my student asks us, you know, why is it that you can do it in 3 years? I say, no, we have from day one designed a program to be, you know, a 3-year program. You should ask the university to actually offer you 4 years. Why do you need to take 4 years to complete, you know, this program? Okay. And you know, for our accountancy program, we get all the same accreditation from all the various, you know, accountancy bodies. The performance of our NBS accounting graduate, they consistently outperform the national passing rate right there in the Chartered Accounting professional examination. So rest assured, you know, and I told you that, you know, every semester our student takes only about 5 to 6 courses, and then comes up to about between 16 to 18 hours of classes. So you look at it, entire week you only attend 16 to 18 hours of classes. That is not stressful. Okay, the stress I think comes when you learn how to, you know, or the stress comes when students have to make the choices of what activity to participate in, because there's so much time on hand to go beyond studies, right? You know, to pursue CCAs, to take up hall activities, to take up sports, everything. Okay, so the stress is not from the studies itself, I'll assure you.
Okay, I'm sorry to break this news to Kinyu, which is that I know he's going to feel like the prof in that viral video that went around, where he talked for 2 hours, and then after 2 hours, the students told him, excuse me, prof, After like 3 minutes of your talk lecture, we already couldn't hear you. I'm sorry to break the news to you, Kinyu, that actually I don't think that the people could hear you, and that unfortunately, I think I will have to get him to redo your answer to the question. Sorry about that. Technology sometimes does let us down. But it's okay. We're agile and flexible, and we rise to the challenge. And Kinyu has taken a deep breath, composed himself, and ready to go again. Thank you, Kinyu.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Okay, I ran out of battery. Okay, so they just replaced the battery in my mic. Okay, so what I was sharing earlier, that our program was designed to be completed comfortably within 3 years. In fact, students will ask me the question, I will turn around and ask them to ask the universities that offer 4-year programs why they take so long to complete the same program. Why? Because our students get the same recognition from all the professional bodies, and they get, the same job offers as well. Right? So, seriously, it's not my fault when, we can design a program, in 3 years. And also, I shared with you earlier, in terms of quality, our program give you maybe even more, quality than you can expect from the other schools. Why? Because our NBS accountancy graduate consistently outperform the national passing rate in all the CA examinations, right? And the other thing, okay, to share with you, although the program is designed as 3 years, actually students have the option to extend. For instance, students might want to take a gap semester, a gap year, to pursue their business interests, to start up their own business. Okay, you can do so. In fact, you have up to 5 years to complete your single degree program. So rest assured, time is not a critical factor here. You can do it comfortably within 3 years, or you can choose to do it in a longer span if you choose to do so. Okay, and I would also want to share that for a double degree, okay, it is a 4 years program, which is comparable to single degree elsewhere offered by other local universities. And that's because both the program, be it business with accountancy or accountancy with the data science and artificial intelligence, there are common courses taken by students for each of these individual program. Okay, so for those common courses, you only need to do it once. So what you need to spend additional time on are the core modules in each of these programs itself. So for instance, in Accountancy and Business, the difference is in the advanced accounting courses. There are 9 such courses, and similarly for business program, there are 9 advanced business courses. And that's why you only require our student to do 1 additional year of studies to complete the other set of advanced courses in the other program. Right? So you can do it very comfortably. And I think I alluded to this fact, our students do about 16 to 18 hours of classes per week. Compare that to a junior college, I think that is actually much fewer hours than you are currently doing in your JC. Okay. Thank you. Back to you, Kit Wai. You have heard me this time around.
Okay, thank you, Kinyu. And let me just say for the record, I'm truly impressed by the way that you have managed to say the same things in a totally different way. Truly the hallmark of a great educator. Okay, okay. And I'm afraid that's all the time that we have here today. But don't worry, for all those questions that you have sent in that we have not managed to answer, we will be answering them on Instagram. Okay, and also we will be having over the course of the following week a whole series of talks as well as virtual seminars. Okay, and this series of talks and virtual seminars will be in relation to each different specialization. So you tune into them, register, tune into them, and then you will get to hear the profs talk about the specializations, as well as you will get to experience what it is like to be in a class in NBS through the virtual seminars. So I do hope that all of you will take the time to join us. Okay, and in the meantime, I want you to quickly scan the QR code that is on your screen right now so that you are able to register. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Okay, I hope you have managed to scan in the QR codes, and I look forward to all of you following us and liking and subscribing all our social media posts. Don't forget that we will be answering further questions on Instagram. So see you on our social media accounts and in our specialization talks and virtual seminars. That's all from us today at NBS.